How important is record keeping in GDPR compliance? The answer is central. It's the heart of demonstrating compliance with GDPR's accountability principle. In the vast landscape of data privacy, record keeping stands tall as a lighthouse guiding the course of GDPR compliance. It's about placing accountability and transparency at the core of your data processing activities. Record keeping serves a dual purpose. On one hand, it helps manage and audit data processing activities, ensuring that you have a clear understanding of what data you hold, where it came from, and how it's being used. It's like a map outlining the terrain of your data landscape. On the other hand, record keeping is essential for responding to data subject rights requests and regulatory inquiries. Imagine receiving a request from a data subject to access their personal data, or a request from a regulatory body for evidence of compliance. Without accurate records, responding to these requests can be like finding a needle in a haystack. But with comprehensive and up-to-date records, you can respond promptly and accurately, demonstrating your commitment to data protection and compliance. So, who needs to keep these records? The requirement extends to data controllers and processors with more than 250 employees, but it's not limited to large organizations, even if you're a small business. If you're processing data that is likely to pose a risk to data subjects, involves special category data, or relates to criminal convictions and offenses, you too need to keep records. What should these records contain? For data controllers, they need to include details like the name and contact details of the controller, purposes of the processing, description of categories of data subjects and personal data categories, and information about data recipients and transfers, among others. Data processors also have specific record-keeping requirements, such as the categories of processing carried out on behalf of each controller. So it's clear that record keeping is not just a bureaucratic requirement, it's an essential part of GDPR compliance. Now that we understand the importance of record keeping, the question arises, who is required to keep these records? The answer might surprise you. It's not just the big corporations that need to keep meticulous records under the General Data Protection Regulation. In fact, if you are a data controller or processor with more than 250 employees, then you're required to keep records of your data processing activities. However, the obligation to keep records does not stop with large organizations. It extends to any entity, regardless of its size, that processes data which is likely to pose a risk to the rights and freedoms of data subjects. This includes processing of special category data, which refers to sensitive information such as racial or ethnic origin, political opinions, religious beliefs, trade union membership, health data, sexual orientation, and genetic or biometric data. It is these types of data that require an extra layer of protection due to their sensitive nature, and thus, keeping records of their processing becomes all the more important. In addition, if your data processing activities involve data related to criminal convictions and offenses, you are also required to keep records. This is because such data can have serious implications on an individual's reputation and livelihood, and thus its processing needs to be carefully managed and recorded. By now, you might be thinking that's quite a list of responsibilities, but why is it so important? Well, keeping records is about demonstrating accountability, managing and auditing your data processing activities, and being able to respond effectively to data subject rights requests and regulatory inquiries. So what information should these records contain? Let's break it down for data controllers and data processors. For data controllers, the record should contain specific information that demonstrates GDPR compliance. This includes the name and contact details of the controller and, where applicable, the controller's representative and data protection officer. The purposes of the data processing activities should be clearly outlined. A description of the categories of data subjects and personal data categories should also be included. Next, there should be a clear indication of the categories of recipients to whom the personal data have been or will be disclosed. This is particularly crucial when the data is transferred to another country or an international organization. In addition, the records should detail, where possible, the envisaged time limits for the erasure of the different data categories. This is a part of the right to be forgotten, a key principle of GDPR. Lastly, there should be a general description of the technical and organizational security measures put in place to protect the data. This could include encryption methods, access controls, or data integrity checks. Now let's move on to data processors. The records they keep should also contain their name and contact details and, if applicable, the processor's representative and the data protection officer's details. The categories of processing carried out on behalf of each controller need to be clearly documented. This could range from data collection and storage to processing, analysis, and deletion. Just like data controllers, data processors must also record any transfers of personal data to another country or an international organization. This helps to ensure transparency and accountability in data processing activities. Finally, a general description of the technical and organizational security measures should be included in the records. This not only proves compliance with GDPR, but also helps to maintain the trust of data subjects by demonstrating that their data is being handled securely. All of this might seem like a lot to keep track of, but remember, these records provide a comprehensive overview of data processing activities. They serve as a roadmap for data management, enabling organizations to stay compliant. So the records are not just a list of data processing activities, they're a comprehensive documentation of the whole data handling process. Knowing what information to include is a great start, but how do we maintain these records effectively? Well, let's dive into some best practices for record keeping. First off, it's recommended to maintain records in electronic form. This not only allows for quick access, but also facilitates seamless updates. In the digital age, using a spreadsheet or a dedicated software tool can make your record-keeping process much more efficient. Now, don't just set it and forget it. Regularly reviewing and updating records is crucial to reflect current processing activities. This ensures that your records are always up to date and accurate. Remember, outdated records can lead to inaccurate data processing, which is a big no-no in the realm of GDPR. Another best practice is to use records as a tool for data protection impact assessments and compliance audits. Your records of processing activities can provide a snapshot of your data handling practices at any given time. This can be invaluable when you're conducting an impact assessment or preparing for a compliance audit. Record keeping is an opportunity to better understand your data processing activities and to identify areas for improvement. So shouldn't be viewed as a chore, but rather as a strategic tool that can help you manage data more effectively. One more thing, while it's important to maintain detailed records, it's equally important to keep them organized. A well-structured record-keeping system can save you a lot of time and headaches when you need to locate specific information quickly. In summary, maintaining records in electronic form, regularly reviewing and updating them and using them strategically for assessments and audits are key best practices for effective record keeping. By following these guidelines, businesses can ensure that your records are not only compliant but also useful for your organization's data management efforts. With these best practices, record keeping becomes a manageable and valuable part of GDPR compliance efforts. Even with best practices in place, record keeping can still be a daunting task. Thankfully, there are tools and solutions available to aid us. In the modern digital world, we have access to an array of software and tools designed to make GDPR documentation and record-keeping much more manageable. These tools can automate the record-keeping process, ensuring that data is captured accurately and consistently. Furthermore, they can provide quick access to records and facilitate easy updates, transforming a traditionally time-consuming task into a smooth and efficient process. One such tool that can prove invaluable is data mapping software. Data mapping enables us to understand and document the flow of data within an organization. It helps us visualize how data is collected, processed, stored, and shared, providing essential insights into our data processing activities. With this knowledge, we can ensure our records accurately represent our data processing activities and help demonstrate compliance with GDPR's accountability principle. Moreover, these tools and solutions can go beyond just record keeping. They can also support other aspects of GDPR compliance, such as conducting data protection impact assessments and managing data subject rights requests. By integrating these tools into our daily operations, we can maintain a robust compliance posture and respond to regulatory inquiries efficiently and effectively. When choosing a tool, consider your organization's specific needs and requirements. Look for features that support record-keeping practices, such as automated data capture, easy-to-use interfaces, comprehensive reporting capabilities, and robust security measures. A well-chosen tool can not only simplify record-keeping tasks, but can also enhance your overall compliance efforts. In conclusion, while record keeping under GDPR may seem challenging, the right tools and solutions can make the process much easier and more efficient. By leveraging these resources, we can ensure that our records are accurate, up-to-date, and ready to demonstrate our compliance with GDPR's accountability principle. With the right tools, record keeping becomes easier and a strategic compliance activity. Like any process, record keeping comes with its own set of challenges. One of the most common challenges in record keeping is keeping records up to date, especially when processing activities change frequently. Ensuring that the records accurately reflect the current state of data processing. This is crucial not only for compliance but also for maintaining the trust of data subjects and other stakeholders. So, how do we tackle this challenge? The solution lies in implementing processes for regular review and updates. This could be as simple as setting a regular schedule for reviewing and updating records, or it could involve integrating record keeping into the data lifecycle management process. By making record keeping a routine part of data management, it becomes easier to keep records current and accurate. Another challenge is ensuring comprehensive documentation across decentralized teams. In today's digital world, it's not uncommon for teams to be spread across different locations, time zones, even continents. This can make it difficult to ensure that all processing activities are properly documented and that the records are consistent across the board. To overcome this challenge, centralized record-keeping tools can be incredibly helpful. These tools allow all team members, regardless of location, to access and update the same set of records. They also provide a clear communication channel for documenting processing activities, making it easier to maintain a comprehensive and accurate record of all data processing activities. In addition, these tools often come with features that facilitate compliance, such as automated reminders for review and updates, built-in templates for record keeping, and the ability to generate reports for audits and regulatory inquiries. So while record keeping can be challenging, with the right strategies, these challenges can be effectively managed. By implementing regular review processes, integrating record keeping into data lifecycle management, and using centralized record keeping tools, you can ensure that your records are always up to date and comprehensive, thereby enhancing your GDPR compliance efforts. Let's recap what we've learned in this module about record keeping. Record keeping is not just a bureaucratic obligation under the General Data Protection Regulation. It's a crucial component of demonstrating compliance with the accountability principle. It assists in managing and auditing data processing activities and is essential when responding to data subject rights requests and regulatory inquiries. We've discussed who needs to keep records. Data controllers and processors with more than 250 employees are required to keep records. But size isn't the only factor. If the data processing is likely to pose a risk to data subjects, involves special category data, or relates to criminal convictions and offenses, then record keeping is required regardless of the size of the organization. We've also looked at what these records should contain. For data controllers, this includes details such as the name and contact information of the controller, purposes of the processing, and categories of data subjects and personal data. Data processors, on the other hand, need to document their name and contact details, categories of processing carried out on behalf of each controller, and any transfers of personal data to a third country or an international organization. We've highlighted best practices for record keeping. Records should be maintained in electronic form for quick access and updates. They should be reviewed and updated regularly to reflect current processing activities, and they should be used as a tool for data protection, impact assessments, and compliance audits. We've also explored tools and solutions that can aid in GDPR documentation and record keeping, and the role of data mapping in understanding and documenting data flows within an organization. Lastly, we've addressed common record-keeping challenges and their solutions. Keeping records up to date with frequent changes in processing activities can be challenging, but this can be managed by implementing processes for regular review and updates, and integrating record-keeping into the data lifecycle management. Ensuring comprehensive documentation across decentralized teams can also be a hurdle, but centralized record-keeping tools and clear communication channels for documenting processing activities can help. Remember, proper record keeping is not just a requirement under GDPR, it's a key component of demonstrating your organization's commitment to data protection.